If you want to change your life, you don't need luck. You don't need to win the lottery. And you certainly don't need to sit around waiting for the right time to act. The only thing you truly need is one habit: learning every single day. It may sound simple, almost too simple, but imagine this. If each day you learned just one valuable thing, after 30 days you would already have 30 new lessons. After 365 days, you would have built a treasury of knowledge powerful enough to turn you into a completely different person. That's exactly how I started. When I was young, I was just like anyone else, hungry for a better life, but unsure where to begin. I thought I needed luck, the right connections, or a big opportunity. But I eventually discovered that all of those things only come after you begin giving yourself knowledge. In more than 30 years of sharing and walking alongside thousands of people, I've realized one unshakable truth: your life only changes when your mind changes. You can change jobs, change where you live, even change your entire environment. But if you don't change what you know and what you believe, your results will remain the same. Let me tell you this: daily learning is the most powerful engine you can ever ignite for your journey. It doesn't make noise, it doesn't boast, but it's steady and unstoppable. Like drops of water falling on a stone one day, the mark will run deep. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn daily learning into the machine that creates your career, your wealth, and a life that cannot be stopped. And if you truly commit, you'll realize this: you are the one holding the key to unlock an entirely new future. Now, let's begin the journey of discovering knowledge. Part 1. Knowledge determines success. Success is not a miracle. It doesn't happen because one morning you wake up and suddenly everything has changed. Success comes from knowledge. And knowledge comes from your willingness to seek, to study, and to accumulate it day after day. What you know determines what you do. And what you do determines the results you achieve. Every action you take is the direct consequence of what you've learned and understood. If you learn how to manage your time, you'll act with more discipline. If you learn how to manage money, you'll invest more wisely. If you learn how to communicate, you'll build stronger relationships. Knowledge is the root, action is the fruit. Winners in business, in careers, and in life, none of them are accidentally lucky. They study, they develop skills, they make themselves valuable enough that society cannot ignore them. In this world, there are two kinds of people. The first are those who believe, I already know enough. They stop reading, they stop asking questions, they stop challenging themselves. They choose comfort, and slowly, they become trapped inside that very comfort. They don't move forward, and worse, they get pulled backward. The second are those who always tell themselves there's still more to learn. They see themselves as lifelong students. They read every day. They attend courses. They seek mentors, listen carefully, take notes, and put lessons into practice. And because of this, they move ahead while others remain stuck in place. What makes the difference is not circumstance, but the spirit of learning. The rich and the poor both have 24 hours a day. The successful and the unsuccessful both face challenges. But the successful choose to keep learning while the unsuccessful choose to stop. The question is, which group do you want to belong to? Part 2, daily learning makes you stronger. I always say, the mind is like a muscle. If you stop training it, it grows weak. But if you exercise it every day, it becomes stronger, sharper, and more resilient. Learning is how you take your brain to the gym. Every time you learn something new, even something small, it's like adding another rep to your workout for the mind. At first, the change may not be obvious. But after months, after years, the difference will be so great you can hardly believe it. So what are the results of daily learning? First, you become more confident. When you know more, you act with greater decisiveness. You no longer fear choices because you have the foundation to make sound decisions. Second, you develop clear judgment. Those who haven't studied enough often feel vague, hesitant, or easily influenced. But those who learn consistently can view problems from multiple angles, compare, evaluate, and choose the wiser path. Third, you're prepared for opportunities that others can't even see. Opportunity only comes to those who are ready. By learning every day, you build the foundation to seize those precious moments in your work, in your finances, and in your relationships. This world doesn't reward people who wait around. It rewards people who are prepared. And preparation begins with learning. You can't predict exactly what the future will bring, but you can be certain of this. If you learn every day, you'll always have the tools to face whatever challenges come your way. Remember, when you stop learning, you're not standing still, you're falling behind. But when you choose to learn each day, even just one page of a book or a short lesson, you grow stronger, more confident, and more prepared than ever. Part 3, a new life begins with new knowledge. Your life today, your income, your relationships, your career is nothing more than a reflection of what you've known up to this point. If you don't change your knowledge, you won't change your results. It's as simple as that. If you want new results, you must learn something new. You cannot keep thinking the old way, using the old tools, and expect a different future. You cannot solve tomorrow's challenges with yesterday's skills. Learning is the secret doorway that allows you to break free from repetition, to escape the cycle that so many people remain trapped in. Look at reality. Someone earning $50,000 a year knows and applies completely different principles than someone earning $500,000. It's not because they are luckier. It's because they've learned new principles, new ways of thinking, new strategies. Income is nothing more than the outcome of knowledge put into practice. And this truth is not only about money. It applies to every area of life. In marriage and love, those who learn the art of listening, understanding, and asking the right questions will build deeper relationships. In work, those who continually develop new skills always have an advantage over those who rely only on old degrees. In personal life, those who learn how to manage their emotions will live happier than those who simply react on instinct. Knowledge is the foundation. If you want to build a bigger house, you must dig a deeper foundation. If you want a broader future, you must expand your knowledge. You may complain that your life hasn't changed, but ask yourself, have I changed the way I learn? If the answer is no, then your results will stay the same. Remember this, new knowledge opens the door to a new life. And every door you choose to open today will lead you into a completely different world tomorrow. Part 4, stop learning and you stop growing. I've seen many people reach a certain level of success and then stop. They think, I'm good enough. I have enough knowledge. I have enough experience. From that very moment, they begin a decline they don't even recognize. They stop reading. They stop exploring. They stop challenging themselves. They build around their lives an invisible glass ceiling unseen, but incredibly dangerous. The world changes every single day. New technologies emerge, new industries are born, new opportunities constantly open up. If you're not learning, you're not standing still, you're falling behind. Because while you remain in place, others are moving forward. And over time, that gap only grows wider. I often say, when you stop learning, you start dying. Not a physical death, but the death of creativity, the death of opportunity, the death of potential. You may still breathe, still work, still function, but the inner fire of growth has gone out. On the other hand, truly successful people always carry the spirit of a lifelong student. They may have reached great heights, but in their eyes, there is still so much more to discover. They attend seminars, they read new books, they seek out teachers younger and smarter than themselves to keep learning. It is precisely this humility that keeps them at the top. Think about it. When a tree stops growing, it begins to wither. The same is true for us. If you don't feed yourself with new knowledge, you'll slowly dry up in the repetition of routine. But if you keep the habit of learning, your mind will stay fresh, creative, and full of energy. So ask yourself, who are you right now? A lifelong student or someone who closed the book far too early? Part 5, the mind needs knowledge, just as the body needs food. You cannot skip meals and expect a healthy body. You cannot live on junk food and hope for strength and resilience. In the same way, you cannot skip meals of knowledge if you want a mind that is strong, clear, and full of life. Yet many of us are feeding the brain with mental junk, hours of meaningless scrolling on social media, a constant stream of negative news, mindless entertainment that leaves us numb. And then they wonder, why hasn't my life changed? The answer is simple. You get exactly what you put into your mind. Imagine this. If you ate chips and soda 3 times a day for an entire year, what would happen to your body? Your health would decline, your energy would drop, and sickness would come knocking. The mind is no different. If you keep feeding it empty calories from useless information, you'll find yourself drained of ideas, lacking motivation, and trapped in negative thinking. But when you nourish your mind with nutritious food, valuable books, meaningful podcasts, deep conversations, new courses, your mind transforms. You become sharper, more creative, and stronger. You begin to see the world differently, noticing opportunities where others see only obstacles. The habit of daily learning is like a healthy diet for the mind. You don't have to overeat all at once. Just 20 to 30 minutes a day, like a small but nutritious meal, is enough to sustain growth. One page of a book, one new idea, one story you listen to, all of it contributes to the nourishment of your intellect. Remember this, your body reflects the food you eat. Your life reflects the knowledge you absorb. If you want a life that is healthy, strong, and enduring, start by carefully choosing the food you give to your mind. Part 6, success belongs to those who never stop learning. Look around you, the people you admire, a successful entrepreneur, a world-class athlete, a gifted artist. They may not share the same starting point, but they all share one secret, an unshakable hunger to keep learning. They read every day. They experiment. They fail. Then they rise again, take the lesson, make adjustments, and move forward. Success is not a single explosive moment. It is the result of small improvements repeated day after day. From the outside, people often see only the glow of success, but few notice the hundreds of hours spent reading, the thousands of hours spent training, the dozens of setbacks endured. It is those quiet accumulations that build a strong foundation. When opportunity arrives, they are not lucky, they are simply prepared. Take an example. An Olympic athlete doesn't just train on the field. They study nutrition, psychology, and new techniques. A successful entrepreneur doesn't just sign contracts. They spend hours reading reports, studying markets, and learning from the mistakes of others. They understand that the moment they stop learning is the moment they start falling behind. The greatest difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is how they approach knowledge. Average people treat learning as optional. Successful people treat it as a way of life. And you can begin the same way. You don't need to become a genius today. You only need to turn learning into a daily act, reading a chapter of a book, listening to a podcast, taking a short course. These are the small bricks that will one day build the castle of your success. Remember this, success doesn't belong to the smartest. It belongs to the ones who persist in learning the longest. Part 7. The more you know, the wiser your choices. Every decision you make today is a brick laid in the foundation of tomorrow. Your future is not determined by one single event, but by the hundreds, even thousands of small choices you make each day. And to make the right choices, you need one essential element: knowledge. Knowledge gives you clarity in every area of life: finances, career, love, and health. Those who lack understanding often make decisions based on fleeting emotions, old habits, or worse, the influence of the crowd. But those with knowledge are different. They analyze, they weigh options, they rely on data and experience. And because of that, they choose a path that is clear and aligned with their long-term goals. Consider finances. Someone without knowledge might spend their entire monthly income on short-term pleasures. Meanwhile, someone with knowledge learns to save, to invest, and gradually builds financial freedom. After 10 years, those two sets of choices lead to two completely different lives. The same is true in a career. A person who does not keep learning may settle for repetitive, safe work with no growth. But a learner knows when to sharpen new skills, when to seize opportunities, and when to step outside their comfort zone to go further. Even in love and relationships, knowledge is the key. Understanding psychology, the art of listening, and how to resolve conflicts, all of these help you build relationships that last, rather than letting impulsive emotions tear them apart. You see, the difference between a wise decision and a reckless one can create a gap that lasts a lifetime. And that gap is not created by luck, it is created by the knowledge you've prepared. Remember this, the more you know, the more choices you have. And the more choices you have, the easier it becomes to choose the path that leads to success. Part 8, when the mind grows, life grows. You cannot live a bigger life while holding on to a narrow way of thinking. A small room can only hold small things. The mind works the same way. If you limit your thinking, you will also limit your future. Every time you expand your mind, you expand the path ahead. You begin to see opportunities that were once completely hidden. You begin to believe that you are capable of more. Life will never exceed the boundaries of your vision, and that vision is expanded through learning. Successful people don't just learn more information. They learn to think in new patterns. They develop a growth mindset. To them, difficulties are not walls that block the road, but doors that challenge them to enter. Failure is not the end, but a lesson that carries them further. Imagine this. The same event happens, yet one person sees it as the end, while another sees it as the chance to begin again. The difference is not in the circumstance, it's in the mindset. As your mind grows, you become more creative. You start connecting ideas that once seemed unrelated and turn them into new solutions. You see the big picture instead of just the piece in front of you. And that is exactly what makes you more valuable in your work, in your relationships, in society. The truth is, your life is not as limited by outside conditions as you think. It is limited by the way you think. If you want a bigger life, dare to think bigger, dare to learn more, dare to try new things. Remember this, once your mind expands, it will never shrink back to its old size. And from that moment on, your life will never be the same again. Part 9. The right knowledge can solve any problem. Every problem in life has a cause. Nothing happens by accident. And knowledge is the key that allows you to go straight to the root instead of wasting time cutting at the branches. Those who lack knowledge see obstacles and think, this is too hard, there's nothing I can do. But those with knowledge think differently. They see the same obstacle, yet inside it they find a solution. Knowledge turns what once looked like an impossible mountain into a path you can walk step by step. Take business as an example. Many people fail because they only see the surface, declining revenue, customers leaving, rising costs. They panic. But a person with knowledge will ask, what is the real cause? Is it the wrong marketing strategy? Is the product not right? Or do we simply not understand the customer? Once the root cause is clear, the solution becomes obvious. The amazing thing is that knowledge is all around you. A single book can spark the thinking you've been searching for your whole life. A seminar can hand you the tools to overcome today's challenges. A conversation with a mentor, someone ahead of you, can provide a simple answer powerful enough to change your entire direction. The right knowledge not only helps you solve the problems of today, it also prevents the problems of tomorrow. When you understand the principles of how things work, you don't just put out fires, you design a system with fewer errors. That saves you time, money, and mental energy. Remember this. No problem is too big when you have the right knowledge in your hands. What you must do is commit to learning, to seeking, and to applying. Every lesson you gain is another tool in your toolbox, ready for you to handle whatever challenge comes your way. Part 10, the more you learn, the more life rewards you. Learning doesn't just give you knowledge, it builds personal credibility. When you learn more and understand more deeply, you become the kind of person others want to listen to. They come to you for advice. They trust you in business. They hand you opportunities not because of luck, but because you've proven that you bring real value. Every time you learn, you're sending an invisible signal to the world. I am ready for more. And the world always finds a way to respond. Here, this is your reward. That reward may come as a better job, a higher income, a stronger relationship, or simply greater respect from those around you. Learning also helps you build a foundation of long-term credibility. Money can be lost, positions can change, but the knowledge and understanding you've accumulated, no one can take that away. It stays with you in every situation, becoming the ticket that opens doors you never imagined. And here's the paradox. The more you learn, the more humble you become. You realize just how vast the world is and how much there still is to know. That humility keeps you moving forward, and because of it, life continues to reward you. Pay close attention. The most successful people are never complacent. They are always learning a new language, trying a new skill, or exploring a new field. And life rewards them with constant growth. Life is always fair. The more seeds of knowledge you plant, the more rewards you harvest. Every page you read, every lesson you absorb, adds to your store of wisdom, and that wisdom becomes priceless wealth on your journey. Remember this, education is the most powerful weapon to change the world, and the very first world it changes is the one inside you. You don't need to wait for a special day to begin. You don't need a massive, complicated plan. I only ask you to start today and start small. 30 minutes reading a book, 15 minutes listening to a podcast, 10 minutes writing down a lesson you've just learned. It is these small actions, repeated day after day, that will completely change the direction of your life. A year from now, when you look back, you'll be amazed. You will no longer be the same version of yourself. You'll find yourself more confident, sharper, and surrounded by more opportunities than ever before. Because when you learn, you grow. And when you grow, success comes to you. I promise you this, your life will never be the same again. So right now, I want you to leave a declaration in the comments as your personal commitment. Write, I commit to lifelong learning. This is not just a phrase. It will be your promise, your milestone, the beginning of a journey you'll one day thank yourself for. So learn, grow, and embrace the rewards that life has already prepared for you.